Welcome, everybody, to the Precedent Minds of the Mavericks. My name is Amina, your host, and I'm so excited. You guys know I'm always excited, but this week is super exciting for me because I've wanted to speak to August Rigo for so long, and it's happening. Just diving into his story. August has penned some of the biggest songs by the biggest artists, but his journey has not always been smooth, and he really, really dives into that with us today. It's so amazing because he's really about pushing forth culture and seeing people grow. He wants to help out the next generation, and that's exactly what he does today by telling us about all of the struggles that he's faced. So let's get into it with August Rigo. I like to start every conversation with, how do you define success for yourself?
Oh man, it has changed over the years. When I first started, it was about, making a lot of money and, being rich and famous and being in the in crowd and, going to the parties and having access. Now here we are, like 10 years removed, 10 years later from my first deal. And all I want to do, like my idea of happiness is so much closer than I thought it would be now. Like, it's really just to be able to provide, you know, a, a nice lifestyle for my family
Yeah.
and be financially comfortable and leave and to be able to leave something for my daughter. So it's really simple. Like, and music is now, as much as it's still as much a part of me as everything, but I can compartmentalize that section of myself now. And I'm a little less emotional about the music industry and the music that I'm doing, even though I'm still immersed in it. I'm the way I'm approaching the music is a little more,
Yeah.
I don't know, realistic.
It
My
comes
view of
from more like of a pure place, would you say?
yeah, I'm not out here like busting my ass trying to be cool with people so I could do records for them. I'm at a place where I'm cool, and if you want to do records with me, that's fine. But I I'm doing what I need to do. Everything I'm doing right now is for my family. Everything
Got
that
you.
I have to do right now is for my family. So the the music now is a secondary thing to what is best for my family. So as soon as the music becomes not what's best for my family, I'm gonna have to pivot a little bit. But music is my first love, and I've been lucky enough to I have this saying that you need two jobs at all points, one to pay your bills and one to pay your dues.
Yeah.
And I've been lucky enough that the job I've been doing to pay my dues is paying my bills,
Yeah.
which is great. So, I mean, yeah, happiness for me, success for me, it's success, right?
Yeah.
Success for me, being able to provide for my family, doing music, and that's what I'm doing now. So,
We can just wrap up here. That was perfect. That was
you can call, yeah,
perfect. I
I
love
guess you can
that.
call that success, right?
Yeah, and it's so funny you say that because me and my friends actually recently had this conversation. There's this video going around right now, Offset. He's at the complex, like he's at Fight Club for like the sneaker thing, and he spends like $30,000 on like 20 pairs of sneakers or something like that, Gives his credit card, doesn't have anything on his face, and everybody's like, "Yo, like what a life!" And I was like, I think there's a difference between being financially stable and maybe even a little bit better off versus being rich. Because at the point of where you're rich, you're hoarding money.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to attain essentially, and then I feel like all those people probably want to go back to having a family or being cool with people, like people's company, because at the end of the day, I think that is one of the greatest feelings
Yeah.
to me. Like I break down life as music, food, and company, the three to me.
Mm-hmm.
What else could you
So
want in life?
here's the thing. The concept, I think, it's called a paradigm of choice, right?
Yeah.
So the music industry, especially, or anything in the entertainment industry, you get privy to a lot of things that you wouldn't normally see. You
Yes.
an absurd amount of wealth, ridiculous situations, and excess. And once you see that, if you can't put that into perspective and reel yourself in, that becomes your reality. And all of a sudden, you know, having a BMW, for example, is like, oh, I just have a BMW. Whereas 90% of the world is like, yo, I wish I had a BMW,
Yeah.
right? You've got, you know, you've got diamond chain, you've got a gold chain on, and then you see somebody with a diamond encrusted gold chain.
Yeah.
Oh, I want that. I need to get to that level.
100%. Yeah.
Um, it happens in, it's like a, that's like a, it's a theme in the music industry. I find, like, when I first started, I was like, oh, I want to land a single. No,
Yeah.
first I want to land a placement. You get a placement. Oh, I want 2 placements. You get another one. Oh, I want the single. I want the album. I want a
Yeah.
#1. I want a platinum plaque. I want a diamond plaque. It never ends. There's always more wants. That's the paradigm of choice, because once you see it, you can't unsee it. I've been up and down so much in my
Yeah.
life. Like, I've had money. I've gone to zero, like a literal zero, like have to
Wow.
borrow money to pay rent 3 or 4 times in this decade. Like from 2010 to 2020, I've had to, like, literally borrow money to pay rent.
Yeah.
So I'm I'm not lucky enough, but maybe I am. I was lucky enough to have that experience to understand, to gain perspective. You know, I
Yeah.
know friends who have been kicking ass since fucking 2010 and are miserable, right?
Absolutely.
Are miserable. Uh, I'm chilling. Like, I'm having a good time
Amazing.
make good time making music and meeting people, and um, you know, helping the new generation of producers and songwriters, you know, come up, and, you know, teaching what I know, but also like learning from like the new kids, because
Absolutely.
it's a young man's game, and if you ain't tapped in with them, it's really really over for you. So,
100%. Wow. There's like so much you've unpacked there. And like, I'm like, wait, where should I start? I,
all right, come on,
no, I want, like,
come
let's
on.
start from the beginning, right? Like, I think you've credited your parents' taste in music as to like, as your influence, right? Like, you've spoken about Air Supply before. I've heard you speak about Mariah, Whitney.
Yeah.
Then you got yourself into Boyz II Men, Jodeci, because I think that is a good gateway into them, right? That world. Were your parents cool with you pursuing music?
My mom wanted me to be a doctor.
Of course.
Um, my dad didn't want me to be anything but responsible. Like,
Wow. Okay.
you know what I mean? Like, my dad, he didn't push me in a direction to be something. He was like, you should do good in school. Do
Yeah.
well in school. It would be nice if you were good in math. I was good at math. He takes pride in his, you know,
Yeah.
mathematical ability. So I was good at math. Like, I tried to be good at math, you know.
100%.
My mom wanted me to be a doctor, but they were there, what they would say, because that's what they, you know, that's what everybody wants their son or their
Yeah.
daughter to be, a doctor or something, you know, like one of those professions,
Yeah.
especially immigrant parents.
Yeah.
But their actions spoke totally differently. You know, they encouraged me to jump on stage.
Wow.
They were very like, I want piano lessons. Yo, you get piano lessons. You want to play baseball? You play baseball. You want to go, you know, even into my college years, you know, we didn't have, you know, we didn't have a lot of money, and college was expensive. Oh, you want to study music? Go study music. Okay, go. So, you know, yeah, my mama would say, I want you to be a doctor, but they wanted me to be happy
100%. But
at
it's
the
a hard
very,
pill to swallow, I think, because it's for a lot of immigrant households. Literally, whatever you just said is a mirror of what my family is like. And it's like they want you to be happy, but a lot of it is for show, right? Because they have to tell this aunt and uncle, well, my daughter's doing this or my son is doing that.
so
And like,
here's,
while they might enjoy us being
yeah,
entertainers, like my parents know that I'm like this huge character and like
yeah,
I do stupid shit for them all the time, but
right.
they're like, yeah, kind of do it. Like, oh, well, the bank is hiring. And I'm like, Mom, you
She's
damn
good, but
well
how,
do.
she's like, they're like, she's good, but okay, how are you gonna make money off of this?
Yeah,
That's the yeah. So here's I get this question a lot about like being Asian in the music industry, or,
yeah,
you know, in the music industry, I'm a minority. Like,
yes,
Black Latino is a demographic minority, but a music industry, the Asian is a minority,
yeah,
right? So I get asked about this, and this goes to this holds true to a lot of the immigrant Canadians as well, because we're a younger country than the States. um, we're the first generation that's been able to dream.
Absolutely.
Like our parents came here to work blue collar jobs so that they could send money back to bring more people over or
100%.
help pay for whatever back there because they're, overseas now. They're the breadwinners. So they don't understand, like we've moved so fast in technology that kids are able to make money like this,
Yeah.
online on their phone. My dad doesn't understand how I make money still. He's like, okay, cool. They have no concept of that. So it's like, can't blame them, right,
No.
for it. But it'll be interesting to see now with the next generation, like our children. We know that kids can make money on their phones or playing video
Yeah.
games or singing songs.
Absolutely.
And with that, there are the perils of, what do you do after that? Because there is a timeline to a lot of it. If you can't diversify your skill set or expand on what you're doing. So I feel like it's going to be a cycle of the same thing, but at the very least we'll have more perspective on this side. But yeah, my parents were like, yo, whatever, do whatever you want, really. Do
That's
whatever you
awesome.
want.
Yeah. Yeah. I think
Just
it seems like it was an unsaid thing. Like in my household, it's definitely an unsaid thing. And I think, I don't know if were you having conversations with your parents about what you were doing? Like, yo, I'm going to the studio
so
or.
here's the I never had like, I'll be like, yo, I'm going here. But never, no like sit down, what are you doing with your life conversations. There was one memory was, so I just moved out of my old studio in my old house. We sold
Yeah.
that. So that story about like my dad wanted to build an apartment, a basement apartment, so that he can rent it out. And as we were building it, I was like, oh, this would be crazy, a crazy studio, Dad. We can make it a studio. And I just kept saying, I want to be a studio. And halfway through the construction, he was like, okay, what are you
Wow.
gonna do? And I was like, I'm gonna make a studio and I'm gonna, record my music. Maybe I'll record other people. I'll be able to make money and where, I'll be able to make money like that. And then he was like, all right, let's see what you do. Like, oh, sorry, there's two. There was that conversation. And then the one previous was I had a job. Like I was working as the national service manager for a water filtration company.
Wow.
Yeah. I had an office downtown, big window,
Wow.
fucking parking spot. And I was like super overweight, and just like, every weekend I would go spend my whatever paycheck on
Yeah.
on the club or at the bar or whatever. And then I was about to buy like a Chrysler 300. Like that was the
Oh
car.
my
And I just woke up one morning and I was like, fuck, I'm very unhappy. Like I'm unhappy. So I went to work and I was like, what would make me happy here? If they gave me a raise, because I'm doing a lot. So I was like, yo, I put the numbers together. I'm like, yo, I'm making you this much more, blah, blah, blah. I deserve a raise. And they didn't give me a raise. And they were humming and hawing. And I was like, all right, cool. I literally took my keys, I plopped them on the table. I was like,
Wow.
quit. But before that, I spoke to my dad. I said, Dad, I know I'm able to help with the mortgage right now and I'm working, but you think I could quit? He was like, why? And I was like, I'm unhappy. He's like, what are you going to do? I was like, I'm going to start driving to New York. I'm going to borrow Mom's car and drive to New York and
Wow.
try to get a record deal. And he goes, you're going to make money doing that? And I was like, hopefully. And he goes, if you're unhappy, quit. That's all he said.
Amazing.
He walked away. So yeah, my parents are fucking cool. My parents are cool, man. Like they're
Yeah.
super cool.
That's crazy because I feel like I'm not trying to become a singer or anything. I'm just trying to get on the back end of the music industry. And like, yeah, so I lost my job earlier this year and I don't know if you're familiar with Lola Plaku. I got into her Girl Connected program. It's a mentorship program. And I was like, look, Mom and Dad, like I'm moving home. Just let me ride this out, please. And they're like, go for it. And I was like, sick. And like the thing is, it's like I have conversations with my parents and like sometimes I feel like, yeah, they don't understand what I'm doing, but I'm like, if I don't give them some background or some insight and force them into understanding the new world, they're going to be left behind. They're obviously not going to understand.
Right.
There's going to be a huge gap between us. So I purposely try, and even if it makes them uncomfortable, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. I'm not going to the bank. Your girl is not working at the bank, bro. Like, it's not happening.
Sorry.
It's just not for me. It's just not. And I like that, like, yeah, you have like a similar, your parents have a similar like background. This is just a one-off question. How does one find out they can sing? Are you just like singing along with Mariah Carey one day and you kind of hit the whistle note and you're like, oh shit,
For
that's not
me,
bad.
it was karaoke.
Nice.
Or karaoke. My family was still is. Uh, I have a huge family in Toronto. Like
Amazing.
a lot of them, like a lot. My grandmother's brothers and sisters. She has like 6 or 7.
That's so sick.
I think 6 of them. Six
Wow.
of the siblings moved to Canada. 5 or 6 of them moved to Canada. So like amongst like from that family tree stemmed, 5, 6 other families. So there's a lot of us. So it was the thing. Like
Yeah.
we're all very close, and we're all very close, and so we always hang out. And karaoke was the thing. Like we all sang, and for some reason, everybody in my family can kind of sing,
Amazing.
kind of like carry a tune. Nobody's like tone deaf or anything. And so
Yeah.
yeah, I used to do it, and they were like, "Oh, he can sing." My aunt, who's like 9 years older than me, she was doing the karaoke thing as well. So like she's like my sister. So we
Yeah.
ended up she ended up like kind of helping, just teaching me how to sing along with my mom, and then it was cool. It was like a novelty. Like, hey, look
That's dope.
look at our 5-year-old nephew, or my 5-year-old son. He's gonna sing today, and
Oh,
they would take me to like parties or like events, and they would be like, "Go sing."
yeah. And you enjoyed it.
Yeah, fucking loved it.
Yeah, okay, sick. And then you also like you learned how to play piano guitar. Were you going to lessons or like you just like
Well,
taught
I
yourself?
lessons for like a few, like maybe a couple of years. But I started when I was 5, and I was
Cool.
fucking so good when I was 5. I
Yeah.
was like really good, so good that I had an ego about it when I was 5.
Wow.
Weirdly enough, and then
You pick up easier as a child, so like
yeah,
that's
so
sick.
I went to class one day, and you play, right? So I played my piece, and I made a mistake. I never made a mistake. I just happened to make a mistake. And the teacher was like, "Oh, you didn't practice." And I was like, "Yeah, I practiced." And I remember this clearly. And she goes, "No, you made a mistake." I was like, "I never make a mistake, but yeah, but I pressed the wrong note. So you didn't practice enough." I was like, "I quit." I didn't play. I left the room. I told my daddy I quit, and he goes, "Why?" I was like, "I don't like her. I don't like the teacher." He was like, "Okay, again, okay."
Yeah.
I quit that day. I was fucking 5 years old. I quit, and I went back when I went back to play when I was in like grade 6.
Yeah.
But I was cheating. Like I was playing everything by ear. Like,
Wow.
okay, I would tell teacher to play it for me, and then I would play it back. And when I got to like grade 3 conservatory, there was a lot of sight reading, and I fucking botched it. I had to like botch the whole
Holy shit.
I failed, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just not taking piano lessons anymore. I'll just play. And
Yeah.
then then guitar, I'm a horrible guitar player, but I like playing guitar.
Yeah.
So like I just sit, like usually if I want to learn something, I just I put the book in front of me, like the chord book, and I'm like, that's the chord, that's the chord, that's the chord. And I practiced for an hour. Okay, I can play this. And
Yeah. I just want to go back quickly. So like you quit at 5, right? Piano at 5. And you're saying like your dad was kind of cool with it. Do you have any like hangups about like your parents not being too harsh on you?
no, not really.
Are you like sometimes are you like, holy shit, I wish my parents had disciplined me more so I would have more discipline almost now?
No, I can't really. Maybe I would have been more disciplined, but I'm really happy with the human being that I've become.
Cool.
Like I'm very pliable. You
Yeah.
know, I used to be a mess of a human being. I used to be a bit of a nomad, and I was cool with that.
Yeah.
And I'm starting to become like a little more organized, a little, you know. And I think that what it taught me was, yo, you better figure shit out yourself. You know, and they didn't push me, but they taught by example. Like my
Yeah.
dad and my mom were very big on teaching by example. You know, clean
Yeah.
your room. Your room is the only dirty room in the house.
Yeah.
You know, clean your room. And yeah, my room still remained dirty until like I got maybe into my 20s, and I was like,
Oh my God, that's me now.
my room like shit. So yeah, I think about that a lot because I'm like, damn man, I wish I could have been an amazing piano player.
Yeah.
But if I was that good of a piano player, I might not have the, you know, the natural instinct of like to be able to write these pop songs that I write.
Yeah.
You know, I know a lot of my extremely talented muso friends can't write the song because, you know, they're stuck on the chords, or they're
Yeah. It's
just,
like very structured versus like
and
feels.
they're, and some of my friends, like, you know, they're just so far gone from like the music, the mainstream music. Like it's boring. Like, what is that, 3 chords, bro?
Yeah.
I can't deal with that anymore because they're so just beyond it, you know. And that's their relationship with music, is that they they're so in tune with the instrument that
Yeah.
they want, you know, they're in the, and then there's like 2 levels of that. There's that level, and I think that if you decide that you want to be in the mainstream music industry, you're able to figure out, and this is where you get to that master creator level, where you're able to take that, the complexities of music, and apply them so that it's palatable for the masses. Like guys like Teddy Riley are fucking amazing at being
Yeah.
gospely and churchy without putting that in your face, you know.
Yeah.
um there's another producer, Eric Hudson, who is just makes you want to throw up because he's so good.
I love that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I feel like, nah, I'm always
It
like,
worked itself out.
yeah, it worked in my, you know, for me it worked. And I
Yeah.
think my parenting style is kind of like that as well now.
Oh, interesting.
So I can see now that just in saying it, I'm like, oh, that's my whole raising Ruby philosophy right now. So
Raising Ruby.
maybe a little bit, maybe they could have been a little bit stricter, but you know, I had a good childhood. You know, I was able to do
Absolutely. Yeah.
most things that I want to do. So,
Yeah.
and my path was right. You know, I chose.
Absolutely.
I was very lucky that, you know, I was 5 years old and I wanted to sing, and that direction is what took me all the way to here. I never changed. You know,
That's
you know,
sick.
I dabbled in like computer graphics and design, but it's because it's creative and artistic, and I like that stuff. But I mean, I always since I can remember, I was like, yo, I'm going to do music, and you know,
You're
I'm
doing
old.
it.
I'm old, and I'm still doing it.
You're
So
not old, but yeah, you're still doing it, which is dope.
I'm a lot older than my Wikipedia says I am.
Oh my God, amazing. Just lying motherfuckers out here. Amazing. Um, so like, okay, you stopped piano. Did you get vocal lessons at all? Like, did you have a vocal
No,
coach?
I never did vocal coaching or vocal lessons. I did, however, go to a performing arts high school. I went to Cardinal Carter Academy for the Arts,
Sweet.
and so it was kind of like vocal training every day, but it was opera. I did opera and sacred
Wow.
music and chorale.
Yeah.
Uh, so that was a weird thing, and I'd had OAC, so I had grade 13 back then.
Oh shit.
So
Wow.
I did that for 5 years,
5 years, yeah.
and then after that, I went to school for vocal jazz at Humber. But the weird thing is, after high school, because I was singing from such a different place, because I was doing choir,
Yeah.
and I felt like I had to relearn how to
Yeah.
sing pop music, like kind of like get that. Like I learned a lot about the foundation of vocalizing, I guess, or singing, and had to unlearn some of the technique in order to become better as a
Gotcha.
pop singer
Yeah.
or R&B singer rather.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of the extent of my training.
That's dope. Yeah, because I was actually just watching Miley Cyrus on Zane Lowe, and she's like, I don't train. And I was like, oh, that's like interesting. But like I guess like like your voice, I find your voice has so much control. Like I'm not sitting here being like, I understand tone and all that stuff. But like when I listen to you, I'm like, oh yeah, there's like so much control there. And for her, like she I feel like she just like sings whatever. And I'm like, oh yeah, this kind of
Yeah,
makes sense. You have no like she has no vocal training. So I was just like,
yeah.
oh yeah, like I wanted to ask for sure.
I definitely stud like on my own was very much a study of singers, and I study things.
Yeah.
I had the I always say like I wasn't like naturally amazing. I was naturally inclined to work at it. Like I had the
Okay.
you know what I mean? Like I was like some people they just sing their fucking bomb. They not be technically great or under what they're doing, but they're just tonally they're really good. They don't know what they're doing. It's just there.
Yeah.
For me, I practiced. Like I sang a lot,
Yeah.
and I kind of was like I picked and choose different ways of singing until I got comfortable with my own voice.
Yeah.
I used to try to sing like this person or try to sing like that until I kind of sang enough that I got comfortable singing in my own voice. And
Oh.
the way I got comfortable with singing with my own voice was when I started writing my own songs.
Oh yeah, wow.
I had
Sick.
no I had no more point of reference. Like I sang a Michael Jackson song, sing like Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
I sang a Jodeci song, I'm trying to sing like Casey or JoJo. But when I'm doing an August Rigo song, my point of reference was nowhere. So I wasn't really trying to sing like anybody. I was just
You got to make
singing,
it up. Yeah.
make it up.
Create it for
But
yourself.
with taking from all those influences now are kind of molded into like my vocal style, like
Yes.
whatever I was listening to with Jodeci, Boyz II Men,
Yeah.
Michael Jackson, Stevie Wonder, whatever.
And how do you maintain your voice? Because like you take like
Okay.
yeah, I was just gonna say you're smoking, which is hilarious. But like yeah, like I know like Rihanna like used to smoke a cigarette before each show and then have a lozenge, and that's why she has this raspiness to her voice. Like, is there anything you're doing to like over the years protect your voice? Like, are you scared of losing your voice?
Sometimes.
Yeah,
So
it's like
I have lost my voice actually. So
it's terrifying.
when I first started singing, not singing, when I first started writing and traveling and doing this like heavy music industry, like rounds and
Lifestyle,
sessions,
yeah.
yeah, I was drinking a lot. I
Yeah.
was singing a lot. Yeah, but I was also traveling a lot and I wasn't sleeping. And I probably wasn't drinking enough water. And I probably wasn't eating well, whatever. But I was singing so much. And on top of it, I was really trying to show my shit. Like I was pushing my voice off every
Wow.
session because I wanted to show people, yo, look, I'm not just a songwriter, I'm an artist and I can sing, because that was my whole thing, right? I wanted to be I wanted to be the voice behind these records. So
Yeah.
like I'm gonna sing the fuck out of this song so nobody else can sing this shit. It's gonna be a great song. And they're gonna be like, yo, we gotta let him keep it. So I'm singing my heart out on these records. And lo and behold, I ruptured a vocal cord. Like ruptured. That was what the ENT said. ENT said, yo, you ruptured your vocal cord. You're literally, because I was having problems speaking.
Oh shit.
Like it was like I always just woke up. Like my voice is that, I was that.
Shit.
And so my vocal cord, they're supposed to go like this. This vocal cord was like this, was literally like swollen to a pulp. So only one vocal cord was working.
Yeah. Okay. So this is podcasting. So what he's saying is pretty much like think about your finger, and it's swelled up to about the size of three fingers combined. Yeah.
It was probably bigger. It was
Oh my
huge.
God.
Yeah, he
That's
put a
terrifying.
camera on my. Yeah, and then so I had to do like like take steroids. I had 11 days of silence,
Holy
like
shit.
no speaking for 11 days, which was crazy.
That's
Um,
People pay
Yeah.
for that shit, the 10-day silent retreat, and they say it's fucking wild. So I
Yeah.
can only imagine.
Very it was cool. Like I was still writing music and I was still
Yeah.
doing things, but I wasn't singing and I wasn't talking. Yeah, and it took a really long time to get my voice back. Like, yeah, I did 11 days silence, took the medication and was able to speak again and sing and do things.
Yeah.
But to actually get back to fucking singing form
That's crazy.
took me like 2, 3 years.
Holy shit.
It
Were
took
you
a long time.
scared that like that was it for you? Like in those moments where you're like, this is it?
No, I wasn't scared, but I knew that, damn, my voice is not, I don't know where my voice is right now. I don't know what's happening. Like I
Holy
could
shit.
sing. I um there was like there's like atrophy in my
Mm.
vocal cords because it's a muscle, right? And I it it basically it had to like rejuvenate itself.
Yeah.
But when it came back, it was never the same as it was before. And then
Yeah.
also I was raspy.
Yeah.
Like I had an ability to bring out a rasp in my vocal, which I didn't have before.
Cool.
Weird. So it's just, which is cool, and I
And add
really
some dimension to your voice, which is
I'm
dope.
cool with my voice now. Like I'm very comfortable with where I can sing now, and like I like what I'm doing vocally. So it's it was a little scary, but it wasn't like I wasn't like, oh my gosh, I'm never gonna sing again. But
Yeah.
I am gonna quit smoking soon, so I'm gonna get it in as much as I can.
Yeah,
Uh,
absolutely.
and yeah, but I don't do anything. I do a ginger shot here and there. Maybe I just blow my nose to make sure I'm not congested. Like
Yeah.
let's fucking go.
Fair, yeah. I want to get into this because this is super exciting for me. So you start pursuing music. Around what year is this that like you're like, yo, I'm taking this seriously?
All right, so in the back of my mind, it's always a serious thing, right? Like from high school on, like I had a
Okay.
singing group. We had we were signed to like an indie label. Putting together
In Canada, you were signed to an indie
Canada,
label? Okay, cool.
Canada. Um, and then um, and then I went to school for engineering, got a little more
Wow.
serious, in terms of like putting together an album and putting together a project. I got a Factor grant, so I
Nice.
did like my first album through Factor. But really, maybe I'll say around 2000. Oh my gosh, I don't even know. Early 2000s, maybe
Okay,
2001 to 2004. I was like, yo, I'm going to figure out how to do this. And this is like pre-YouTube,
of course.
pre-Facebook, all that shit. Pre-Instagram, obviously.
Yeah.
Uh, so what's the best way to do it? So, you go to, I had a friend who had a publishing deal that you go to different studios and you meet people and you
Yeah.
write songs for them. And I had a friend who had a publishing deal. So he took me to the office, Universal Canada, and I was like, Universal Publishing Canada.
Gotcha.
And he was like, this guy's great. You should work with him. So I started,
Mm.
writing songs, funneling songs to them, but they were never really interested in signing me or, giving me a chance on that level. They were just like, okay, if you're writing, cool.
Yeah.
And then after I quit my job, this guy, this is a tangent story, but
Cool.
very,
Let's go into it.
there's some shit that happens, like some cool shit. So my friend goes to LA and he runs into a guy in the lobby of an office and he's like, hey, I know you. You're my brother-in-law's nephew.
Holy fuck, what?
Right. This brother-in-law's nephew just happens to be, a decently big producer. He's done like,
Sweet.
at the time, he's like Cisco and
Wow.
Jennifer Lopez and Nas. And he goes, yo, I got this rapper that I want you to hear. See, here's a CD, check it out. Cool. Producer leaves, my boy does his meeting. Producer calls back and says, yo, there's a kid singing on the last song of this rap guy's album.
Shut up.
Who's that kid? That's August. Tell that kid I want him. I'm moving to Atlanta. I want him and you to come and move to Atlanta, move in with me. I want to do his album. I'm gonna get him a deal, and it's gonna be crazy.
Wow.
So I moved to Atlanta.
And what year is this?
This is 2003.
Okay.
So we go to New York first. Go to New York first, do a bunch around, do some meetings. Then we move to Atlanta. I get there.
Sorry, and you're getting these meetings because your friend has the product, like the publishing.
My friend was like an OG music head. He used to be signed to Tribe Called Quest, so I was around a lot of hip hop guys. Another one of our friend used to be Fife, God rest his soul, Fife's road manager.
Okay.
But we had a couple of links, so we just parlay, get around. Go to, we had tickets to Rock the Bells. We got to hang out backstage. Just really, I was doing fanboy shit, but I was trying to get in.
Of course, you're networking. That's what we're gonna say. You're networking.
So we get to Atlanta, and he's like, "Yo, this guy's cool, man. He's a fucking sick producer. He plays me beats. He looks like a producer. He's got braids, and he's got a basketball jersey. He's got a Jacob chain and a Jacob watch. He's
my God,
real, fucking real, and he's amazing. Like, and I say amazing. He's like one of the best players I've ever heard play piano. Like, just incredible."
Wow.
3 weeks in, he's breaks up with his girl.
Oh shit.
And is we find out after he's bipolar.
Oh fuck.
So I ended up living in this house 6 months with this guy. And mind you, he was fucking cool as shit, but he was just bipolar, so he was going crazy sometimes.
Yeah. He's having mood swings.
Didn't have any money to go anywhere. I didn't have any, but I was making this album. Anyways, long story short, we have to leave, right? We have to leave. So we leave. In the time we were in Atlanta, which was like 6-7 months, maybe 8 months, we're working in other studios. And I'm in a studio one day, randomly, playing my songs. And this guy comes up to me and says, "Yo, your shit is fire, bro. I could get you some work in Australia."
What?
Sure. Here's my CD with my email address and my phone number. Take it.
Wow.
Nothing of it. Anyways, fast forward. We go broke in Atlanta. I use whatever's left on my credit card to rent a car. We drive back to New York. Right?
Wow.
Back to New York. We stay in my friend's apartment. We're in New York for a month. This is hilarious. We're in New York for a month. My friend, the producer from Atlanta, hits me, goes, "Yo, y'all in New York?"
Oh my God.
"Yeah, man." He goes, "Can y'all pick me up at the station?" What? So we get to the station. This guy's there with 2 bags. Like, "Yo, dude, where's your studio? Where's all your gear?" He's like, "Oh, I left that shit in Atlanta."
What?
I said, "Why?" He goes, "Because they were after me."
Oh my God.
They were after me. Who? No, it was coming. They knew where I was. So go back to the house, make some calls, figure out he left it with his cousin. We're like, "Yo, we gotta get your gear, bro. You're gonna go broke. You're gonna go broke. You don't have nothing." So my friend's wife, she's super sweet. She was like, "Yo, rent a car." We drive back to Atlanta without him.
Holy fuck.
He is shaking because we're making him come. Like, he was so scared to go back to Atlanta. He wouldn't leave the couch. He was like, "Please don't make me go. Please don't make me go." So we're like, "All right, cool. You chill. We can go." We drive to Atlanta, pick up all his gear, and drive it back to New York. So we figure out what the fuck. So we end up finding out that, his parents live in New York. So he was estranged from his parents. So we kind of we put them back together, basically. We just called his parents, say, "Yo, your son's kind of sick. He needs your help." And they took him back in, and he's doing, funny enough, I talk to him still till this day, like every month. That was almost a decade ago. But anyways, back to me. I go broke. I was literally zero broke in New York now. Like, I can't do anything. Like, I can barely eat.
Yeah.
So I call home. I was like, "Yo, can somebody buy me a ticket so I can come home?"
Oh.
So they're like, yo, cool. I think my aunt bought me a ticket home, fly.
Wow.
And then my homie gives me a job, which is the job I had before, the same job back
Yeah.
at a stock boy at a stereo store.
Oh shit.
So I'm driving home from Mississauga one day, 6 months later, Mississauga, and I get a call. Yo, I got your number from blah 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 in Atlanta. Your stuff is sick. You should come to Australia and do some work.
What the fuck?
So I fly to Australia, do some work, and I fly back. Right. A year later, calls me back again. He says, "Hey, I got a real job for you. I can pay you for 10 songs. Give me a price, and I'll send you your ticket." So I gave him a price. I don't know, it was $1,500 a song. I thought that was that was it. You know, I was
Yeah,
like,
you made it. You're like, fuck yeah.
cool, no problem. He's like, no problem. Flights booked for tomorrow. Come. Get to Sydney, and gives me a bunch of money. And I'm like, let's go. I start working, and I meet a girl in the club, and I moved in 3 weeks later.
What? Yo, you're wild, bro.
3 weeks later, and then I lived in Australia. I lived in Sydney for 2 years.
That's amazing.
2 years, and then I'm sorry to say, but I woke up one morning, and she was a single mom.
Oh shit.
I woke up, and I was like,
This ain't it.
I gotta go.
Wow. Yo, it
Yeah.
happens. It like literally happens.
I gotta go. I'm like, I was like 26, maybe 27 or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, I gotta go. So I bounced, came back home, went straight to New York, started hustling, started like, floating songs out there. And that was the mode from like 2007 on. I would drive to New York every month, stand outside of the record labels and hand out CDs.
Oh wow. You
Until-
legit are just on the corner handing out mixtapes.
Yeah, absolutely. Until somebody noticed. And then somebody
Yeah.
noticed. And that person that noticed became my manager 3 years later and was the person who got me my first publishing deal and my first record deal. It's crazy. Like I don't know how many success stories happen like that, but my story literally is, I stood outside with a stack every day.
Yeah. You got people out here being like, yo, I've been busting my ass, taking pictures and posting them on Instagram, and it's not happening. Yeah. And like people are legit like standing outside. Granted, obviously times change, but fine.
I chased Puppy in the middle of the street one day. Like chased him. I ran into him by accident because I was looking down and I hit him with my head in his chest. I was looking down at my CDs, and he was like, "It's all good, man." And then he went into his office, and I was like, "Okay, Puffy's there. He's got to leave. I'm not going to leave until he leaves." So I literally stalked him, stayed outside for like 5 hours in the blistering cold and waited for his cars to move. And when I saw his cars moving, I ran down the street to where like the cavalcade of cars was. And I just like, until I saw him in the car, and I was just like, "Yo, take my CD."
Did he take it?
And no.
Aww.
He's out.
That's so funny. That's so funny. Yeah. And like, I just want to know, like, you didn't spend any time in Toronto developing, or you were just like, nope, the States is it. Australia is it.
So in between, I mean, I obviously like lived in Toronto. Right?
Yeah.
So in between, I was part of like what I was doing for work. I was working at Bay Blue Radio.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I was working at the Gap. I was working at Sunglass Hut. I was working at American Eagle. I would just quit if I had a trip. If I had a meeting to go to New York, I was like, I quit. I'm out.
Fair, yeah. It's fucking retail. Sure.
I used to do like the live band gig. Like I used to do Joe Mama's, the Bamboo, Lava Lounge, Rivoli, Revival, and like you pay like $100 to sing like 4 hours of the night.
Yes.
So I used to do that, and like that's how I got my chops up. And I do sessions, write songs for my friends, write songs with my friends.
Yeah.
But yeah, but I didn't music industry stuff, like getting into the room and writing with other producers and writing songs for Canadian artists. There was a very short time where I did that. And I just didn't enjoy I couldn't, I had better opportunities in the States. The people that I knew were, um, that's where they were like, yo, I know this person
Yeah.
here who can. So I just went there. I just went to the States. Um, and I just found like nobody cared about me in the Canadian music industry. Like they just didn't care. Like
Yeah.
I was in the offices, you know, I was shopping my demo to people. Like I was handing out my CD and like my songs and my EPK and my folder
Yeah.
and shit. And you know, nobody cared. Nobody wanted to fuck with me. So I was like, all
Yeah.
right, cool, I'm out.
Yeah. Did you
Like
feel so like, yeah, did you feel stuck in Toronto? You're like, well, there's
I
like,
just felt like, you know, I'm not appreciated here. Like what I do, nobody wants here. So let me get
yeah.
out here and figure it out. I
Do you
mean,
still feel that like today? Like in like let's say you were trying to make it in today's time. Do you think the Toronto scene would still be like that?
no, Toronto scene is really different now. You
Yeah.
know, R&B and hip hop and the whole industry as a whole, and the creative side of things is different. I don't know what it is in the buildings,
Yeah.
but on a creative side of things, Toronto's an amazing place to be as a creator, as a
Absolutely.
musician. There's like a lot of bubbling like talent. There's a lot of established talent. Um, yeah, but back then, you know, they didn't care. Like they I don't know if they couldn't see it or just didn't care to see it, but you know, the minute I sat in front of LA Reid and played him a song with my demo vocal on it, he gave me a record deal.
Sick.
You know,
Save
so
that for second episode. That like that was a
so
spoiler, everybody. Damn. Yeah, that's super sick. I want to tie back to like you went into the industry blind. Like you did you have any idea of what you were getting yourself into?
no, because initially, like, I didn't even want to be a songwriter. To be honest, I didn't. The only songwriter I knew was Babyface.
Yeah.
I really thought that most artists were like, oh, they write their own shit. They're
Um,
artists, right? So when the opportunity came about to say, like, yo, so here's the weird thing, me being like that, you know, the minority in the music industry, like I would get these meetings based on my songs, like my CD
mm,
being on the table and then playing the CD and being like, yo, this kid's dope. Let's call this kid to see who he is. So I'd get these meetings based on my music, but people would look at me and see me and be like, oh, you don't look like how you sound. Like
yeah.
I can't tell you how many times I've gotten, you don't look like how you sound, you
Yeah.
know, but we love your songs. Maybe we can give it to an artist. What do you mean? Well, maybe we can give it to Justin Bieber or whomever.
Who they think would fit the sound essentially.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, okay, sure. And then like, you know, my previous manager was like, this is your way into the industry. You know, you can be like Neo, who wrote a bunch of hits
Yeah.
and then do your thing. So like that's how I got into the like pitching songs and songwriting. I didn't want to be the songwriter or producer. I wanted to be an artist. Like I
Yeah.
I was writing and producing as out of necessity.
Yeah.
I need to write and produce these songs so I can do my thing. But
100%.
I would back then I would have been happy to be like, yo, oh, you have a song for me? Let me sing it. Yeah,
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
let
And
me
it's
sing that
funny.
shit.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that because I think that like it's such a common thing. Like I've heard numerous times where they're like like artists are like the labels here, especially even to this day, they're like, we don't really know how to like we don't know what to do with you. Like it's fine if you're a white rapper, for example, like we can market the hell out of that, but you're a black rapper, I don't know what to do with that. And like that's obviously hard. And how do you even take that on? Because it's not a reflection of your talent, it's a reflection of what you look
You're
like.
right.
And yeah, and it's like that's a hard pill to swallow, I think. Like how do you
So
learn to manage expectations
I
and not
didn't.
take it personally?
Here's a weird thing. I didn't have any quarrels with like my race or like any didn't have any think anything of my race at all until the music industry put that in my face. Like, yo,
100%.
you don't look like how you sound. We can't do nothing with you. Like it's
Yeah.
basically that. In Toronto, I'll go to the Bamboo. and sing at the R&B showcases. And yeah, they'd be like, oh, the Asian kids are up on stage. What are they gonna do? But you'd
Yeah.
sing, and they'd be like, yo, you can sing. You're sick. Point. Period. You're sick. You're down.
Yeah.
It didn't matter if I was white or Spanish or black. Yo,
They
my
were,
man can sing. He's with us.
yeah.
Out here, it was, yeah, he can sing, but I don't know.
Yeah.
He looks weird.
Yeah.
It
And like,
doesn't match. It doesn't match. And I don't know what that meant. Like, if your voice doesn't match the way you look. Like, I don't know what they would expect me to sound like, but it wasn't that. Um, it it never upset me, to be honest.
wow.
It never upset me. It was more of a like, okay, I, I just have to prove it to you. Then I
Yeah.
have to find a way to prove it to you. And then, as the years go by, I came to this philosophy that I spoke of earlier, is that we're young, like, specifically being Filipino in the music industry or entertainment industry. Like, you see, there's a lot of like, oh, Asian leading men now, and
Yeah.
Asian singers, K-pop. This is all new. It's like the first time. This generation is the first generation of people that have been able to dream of being actors and singers and
Yeah.
writers and producers. So, yo, that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
That's
It's actually funny that you said it because Olivia Rodrigo's half
Yeah,
Filipino, right? And she came out recently being like, I never saw pop stars like myself. But people gave her a lot of heat because she's half Filipino, right?
yeah,
But it makes sense though, because it's like, yeah, if you've never seen anybody that looks like you, and now she's like one of the biggest stars of this
right.
year,
Mhm.
and she's like, yeah, well, shit, I'm the face now. Like, I think her intention was correct in being like, I've never seen that before, right?
Right. Yeah, but she doesn't look super Filipino,
No, she doesn't at all. And I think people
Yeah,
didn't, I think people just
yeah,
assumed she was fully white. And then they're
yeah.
like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, and I think that's great that you can champion that side of you, and I think it's great for us, like, as Filipinos, to kind of have that um kind of additional lift
Yeah.
in in popularity. But again, we're young. Like, it's, as a nation in this Western world, we're really, really young, and it's just evolution. It's an evolution, and yeah, we can complain about it, or we can just work towards getting better and be. I feel like people want it so badly, so early, so quickly, and we also live in this new
Yeah.
world of instant
Instant
gratification.
gratification.
The Black Americans have been here for centuries, and have had centuries of oppression,
They still
not
are. Yeah.
right until now. You know, they are at the forefront of entertainment and sports and stuff. But look at what it took to get there.
Mm-hmm. And it's still not a fair market. Like, it's like they're getting paid less.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's still not fair. So, for me to be like, oh, I'm Filipino, I should be treated equally. Yes, absolutely. We should all, on a human level, be treated equally. But, the world
it's
is the
not in
world.
the thing. Yeah. The thing that I think a lot of people, especially with the rise of social media, is that we're so fixated on our individual problems. Like, we all deserve a table at the seat. Whoops. I mean, a seat at the table, when actually the table should just be fucking like thrown out. That's what the issue
Yeah.
is. But like, we focus on ourselves and our own problems. Like, but what about me? What about me? But it's like,
No, yeah, like I
it's a
said, it's
whole, like, it's a whole, right? Like,
whole thing. It's a whole thing. There are shining examples of different people coming up, but in order to get to that point of, and we're moving really fast. We're moving much faster than it has been
yeah.
in terms historically. But in order to get to the level of the majority, it's just going to take time. It's going to take evolution.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah, one of my favorite examples is actually St. John. He blew up last year. He's actually Guyanese. Shout out Guyanese people. Yeah,
Hey,
I think, yeah, like, he was writing for over 10 years, and like, he literally had his break last year, because, and Roses came out, the actual song Roses came out in 2018, I think, and the remix is what like skyrocketed because of TikTok. But it was just like, he's been in this game for over 10 plus years and now he's seeing this big break. So it's like, yeah, sometimes it is a matter of just like
It takes time, and it
working
takes
at it.
people. Some people get that hot streak early, and then some people it happens later. That's why the key is to never stop.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with that. Um, I definitely agree with that. And like, I actually want to go into this because you touched on it a bit. So, spoiler alert, you got signed to LA Reid, and he was like, I want you as an artist and a singer songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
In that time, were you more so stuck writing for other people? Were you allowed to explore yourself as an artist? Like, what happened there?
I was I wasn't not allowed to do anything, but
Yeah,
I was very the direction I was being pushed into was to really write for other artists, to really do my thing. Not from LA, but from my team and like that was what
okay.
was making money. That was what was making money. My artist career is still undetermined, right? But I had
Yeah,
a record deal. Um, and what was happening was, I'd have some choice songs that I, whenever I had my own time, I'd make songs for myself. But I had been working at such a feverish pace that I had a really huge catalog of
yeah,
songs with big producers that I could, oh, I'm gonna take this one. This one didn't get taken by Bieber, or this one didn't get taken by Sean Kingston or One Direction. I'm gonna take these songs and create this album from
yeah.
basic demos that I was shopping.
Wow.
But I never got the chance to be the artist and like go into the rooms with producers and like, yo, what do you want to create?
Yeah,
And then as a byproduct of that, I became my own producer. I figured out my own sound, over the
yeah,
years, not what I wanted to do.
100%. And we touched on this a
But I
bit earlier. Sorry, go ahead. Say that again.
no, but I never got that like that artist treatment.
And okay, so I think we briefly touched on this before, but how do you manage your expectations when you were like, I'm going into this, I'm going to become an artist, and it didn't pan out the way you wanted then? And like, if like that's what you're set on, your sights are set on, and it doesn't work out, and the fall can feel kind of hard, right? So it's like,
Yeah, absolutely.
how did you like work yourself through that?
Well, I think it's a self-awareness thing, right? For me, it was like self-awareness. That's how I dealt with everything,
Yeah.
and taking accountability. Okay, so it's not working for you this way. You have to do more.
Okay.
Okay, and it's not working this way. You have to do more. It's not anybody else's fault. Like I want to be an artist, and so you do what you need to do to make that shit happen. And just because you're not rich and famous doesn't mean you're not an artist. I
100%.
at the time I was putting a lot of emphasis on, man, I'm not Demi Lovato status or this,
Yeah.
so like, why do they want to mess with me? But you know, the perspective now, with perspective and looking back, it's like, you know what? I'm an artist. Whether
100%.
I response to people or not is it's just a skill set that I have, and an ability
Yeah.
that I can transfer on to other people. But I'm an artist, and the only reason why, the fuel that that powers the vehicle to be able to songwrite is the artist in me.
Yeah.
That's why I do this stuff, so I can continue to be an artist. So yeah, it used to hurt, but now it's like, now I feel like we're in a world where I can do my own thing.
Yeah.
And if I dedicate enough time and effort into it, I can make that success happen,
100%.
because I know the songs are there. I can make that success happen. I'm
Yeah.
fully capable of doing that myself. So I'm pretty happy with my place in the world as an artist, because I'm comfortable with who I am musically.
Yeah. And I like that a lot. And the reason I asked the first question about how do you define success for yourself is that I think a lot of people go into the music industry, artists, sorry, and they're like, well, I'm going to chart on billboards. That's a great goal. Don't get me wrong. But if you don't, that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not a good artist. Majority of the artists I listen to, I'm not saying I'm some hipster who like discovers music and all this shit. No, but like majority of the artists I listen to probably won't ever chart on billboards for whatever reason. Maybe they're from another part of the world or
Whatever.
whatever. but the music is so good. And like I don't sit there and be like, well, you don't have a number one. How can you be a good artist? Like I think that like people need to get that out of their heads that like if you're just because you might not be awarded by whatever Billboard, Grammys, MTV awards doesn't mean you're not an artist or a good artist even. Like I don't know why we
Sure.
need so much validation like that.
Well, it does, it is sort of a reflection of success, but I think that
100%.
people, right? But I think that you are what you think you are. If you think you're a piece of
Fair.
shit, you're gonna be a piece of
Yeah.
I I think, I'm an artist. Like I'm a very big believer on the power of the mind and your
Yeah.
ability to, your portrayal of yourself and your reflection of yourself internally is what you reflect out into the universe.
Yeah.
And I'm an artist. I'm a creative. I like doing what I do. And if I'm never rich and famous, God forbid, but if I'm never famous for my artistry, um I feel like I've done, the music I've made for myself. I'm so happy with it that, that would be satisfaction enough,
Yeah.
you know. And I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet.
Yeah.
But if it was all to end at this moment, my catalog will transcend my life, you
Yeah.
know.
Fair.
For sure. Hands down, my catalog will transcend my life because I
Absolutely.
feel like those songs are fire. So
Yeah, good. You should. Absolutely. And also too, like also about managing expectations. I think in the industry sometimes some people have some people are obviously shady, but I think some people have great intentions.
hmm
Execution might not just happen. For example, the guy who you went to Atlanta with, like it didn't go the way it was planned, right? And how do you persevere? Like I'm in the middle of reading Mariah Carey's book and she's just at the point where she leaves Sony. She's one of the biggest artists at this time, signs to Virgin, who's this like newish label. It's at the time that glitter happens and like she's not doing well mentally. And then the woman that brought her on at Virgin gets fired. She comes back from kind of like recouping, and Virgin's like, yo, we don't want to give you so much money anymore. The biggest artist at this time. So it's like, how do you, it happens to everybody, right? It's just sometimes it's situational. How do you not take it personal? I always say that's showbiz. And that's why you have to kind of just like roll with the punches as hard as it can be sometimes. How do you, yeah, like how do you manage that for yourself? Like, let's
I
say
mean,
someone's like, yeah, I'll
yeah,
do a song with you. And then they're like, yeah, no, sorry, fuck.
I meet a lot of people, and then sometimes I meet a lot of people that are excited to write songs with me, and then sometimes the songs aren't as good as they thought they'd be, and sometimes I meet producers and the songs that we do together aren't as great as we thought they'd be. Not every day is a hit record day.
Fair.
It's a very special thing, and there's a chemistry and an energy that's involved in, for me, in the creative process, um, as much as the final is the creative process is just as important to me as the final product.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's just business. It's just business at the. So, and then I think in order to manage that, just choose wisely on who you work with, who you
Yeah.
invest who you invest your energy into. You know, I used to invest my energy into the things that I thought was going to be the most lucrative,
Yeah.
right? Now I invest my energy into the things that I'm going to enjoy the most, you know?
Amazing. Yeah.
Like, may not be the best artist, but I enjoy the company, and I see, there's potential in other areas, and I like their company. So fuck it. Let's do it and figure it out.
I think that's really important. You touch on something you're like, it's a business at the end of the day. And I think that while it's art and the intellectual property is the commodity, like your life, your story, your vulnerability, as soon as it starts being sold, it literally is about the business. And I think that like while it's hard to swallow that, that's what the music industry is, right?
I feel like you have to create a balance with what you're doing,
Of
uh,
course.
enough, you do it, I do some things that I don't want to do, but when you do those things, like for example, I do sessions I don't want to do sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Like have to write songs for things that I quite frankly don't care about. And, and when I'm done with them, I forget about them. But I'm people lose sight of the fact that we're doing music for a living, and that is a privilege on its own.
For sure.
Whenever I feel that way, I feel like, oh, you ungrateful motherfucker. You know, like no, it is a blessing, a true blessing to be able to do this for a living and get paid and have people want, a skill
Yeah.
set that, from you that, you're God, that's given by God, like,
Yeah.
this, what I do for a living is fun, is playtime all the time.
Yeah.
So, and anytime I don't want to do something, I figure out what I can learn from it, because there's always you can always learn
For
from something,
sure.
this thing. So like, who am I working with, and like make the best of every experience that I get to do in this realm. And ever since I've taken that, some shit I just won't do. I'm just not gonna do it. I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
But when you have to do it, you got to find the joy in it. And sometimes the joy is that, I'm doing music for a living, so
That's dope.
that's it.
Yeah, what
And
more can you ask for? Like
so if you can
your
think of
whole
it,
life is a whole creative process.
if you can think of that alone is like, I'm good. Let me just keep working,
Yeah, for
because
sure.
it's funny because it's all relative. Like, let's say I had a session today, I had a Beyonce session and a Bieber session, and then a Rihanna session the next day, and then some lowly independent artist that has like $2,000, let's say, decent budget, wants
Yeah.
to work with me. I'm their favorite writer. I'm not doing that because I got Bieber and Rihanna, and then I'm gonna take Friday off, whatever
Yeah.
it is. And then the opposite can happen. I have no sessions, and then all of a sudden this artist comes around like, you're my favorite writer, and I'm excited to do it because it's $2,000 and they love me. It's all relative. So like, taking, I guess the point of that is to take the ego out of the whole thing.
Yeah.
Take the ego out of the whole thing. And I think if you use that, take the ego out of the whole thing as a kind of an all in all philosophy, we'd all be much better off.
100%. Yeah. Like help one another build community. And I want to ask this. I feel like this is an obvious question, but I ask this because I find that the answers are often very glamorized. It's like, yeah, just push through. Did you ever doubt your abilities? Because it can actually be very anxiety inducing or crippling for some people to the point of like, I don't know why I'm doing this, especially within the entertainment industry, because it's your livelihood, right? Like it's your story, it's your artistry. It's not like you're selling a product and you're not a good salesperson. It's like it's your art.
I am the product and I am the salesperson.
Yeah.
I many times,
Yeah.
I wanted to give up and quit and kind of do something else. And they're very, there was like a small bout with depression, I
Yeah.
did like maybe a couple of weeks where I didn't leave my room. I just smoked weed and didn't leave my room
For
for two
sure.
weeks. Um, but it's like a shooter slump. You gotta keep shooting. You shoot till you miss, and you miss till you shoot. And
Yeah.
like, you shoot till you miss, and then you keep going. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
Um, yeah, it's hard. It is hard, and like the music changes all the time, and sometimes what you do best is not what people want, and you gotta adapt. And then, but it's cyclic. I feel like I just keep going. I just keep going, and when I feel like, oh, I'm not I'm shit, or maybe I should give up.
Yeah.
Something about my environment is telling me that.
Ah, like a messy room. That's my thing. When my room is a mess, my head is a mess.
A messy studio. Maybe I'm not eating right. Maybe I'm not
Yeah.
exercising enough. My mind isn't clear. My body's probably not clear either. Maybe
Yeah.
my environment is that I'm around people that aren't helping uplift me. Maybe, you know, I read this thing the other day. A bottle of water is 50 cents at the store, but if
Yeah.
you go to the arena, it's $5. You got to go where your worth is,
Yeah.
where people appreciate you. Sometimes you got to work with strangers so that you can get a perspective on, like, how, because your friends always, they are who they are. Yeah, I think that's also a thing, an environmental thing, an internal thing, like a
Yeah.
health thing. There are a lot of things you can do to get yourself out of the gutter, but you
Yeah.
have to have you you have to have the gift of self-awareness, understanding yourself, and knowing, really fully who you are as a human being, or being very
Absolutely.
familiar, so that you can make that adjustment. Yo, I am fucked up right now. What is the problem? Oh, you know what? I'm smoking too much weed. Like, it could be as easy as that. I'm
You
high.
know what's really
I'm
interesting that like you say that because I think a lot of people use weed as a crutch for like obviously getting out of a sobriety and like escaping reality, but I think it is problematic that so many people rely on it and like they're not aware of the effects that it can have on you.
It's still altering. It
Absolutely.
does take you to another place, and sometimes it doesn't take you to the right place. Most times it does, right?
Yeah.
But depending on where you are in this realm, it dictates where you're going to go a lot of the times,
100%.
right?
I'm so
um
glad you said that.
yeah, I like the I I think that it's important. It's really, really important for, to study and understand yourself, and how you react to things, and how you react to things in your environment, so that you can put yourself in the right positions. And then sometimes, like, I know I'm going into a place where I'm feeling uncomfortable, so I have
Yeah.
to kind of, like, sometimes it's unavoidable. You gotta kind of pep talk yourself into, like, I'm the shit.
Yeah.
I'm here for a reason, and I'm gonna do my thing. And if they don't like it, it's not a reflection of my skill or who I am. It's just, music is so, it's not objective. It's a subjective thing, right?
Yeah.
And there's like, there's energy fields like that you can't see, but I fully believe are real.
Oh,
And
100%.
when your energy touches another person's and it doesn't match, right? And
Mhm.
you can't force that. It just is what it is. But yeah, I've wanted to give up a bunch of times,
Yeah.
but um
Here
nah.
you are, you haven't, which is sick. And on the flip
Yeah.
side of that, how do you avoid burnout? Like overworking and like you're like, holy shit, I need to take a break.
You know what? I think when the word boredom hits your lips, I'm
Mm,
bored. This is boring. Okay, probably means you need to take a break. You know,
yeah.
do something else. And sometimes the situation you're in, if it's work, like, you can't do something else, so you have to do something else after. Do
Yeah.
something else totally different. Free your brain. Um, I I've been burnt out before, like,
Yeah.
for sure. I've definitely been burnt out before. But yeah, you just have to be aware of the sign. I haven't been burnt out in a long time. Like, I've been tired, but
Yeah.
creative burnt out, no. You just got. I think if when I get burnt, for me, I can't speak for everybody. For me, when
Mhm.
I get creatively burnt out, I study something new.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I study something new, whether it's, I buy a new plugin, or I try a new thing in my mix, or I learn a new set of chords, or I learn some new guitar chords or
Yeah.
something. Because then you learn something new, and then you learn it enough that it becomes part of your workflow. Now you all the other things that you've learned start to adjust and adapt to this. Oh, I know how to do this now, partnered with this
Yeah.
skill. Oh, now I'm even sicker. Now all of a sudden, something, your confidence goes up. You learn
Yeah.
something new, your confidence goes up. Your confidence is up. If your confidence is up, your creativity is up. it
Amazing.
it just goes hand in hand,
Yeah.
right? um you know
I like that.
That's how I feel. So like anytime now when I feel like, oh fuck, I'm burnt creatively, it's just because I'm doing the same shit. So I got to learn something. So I'll learn
Yeah.
something new. I have a membership to masterclass.
Oh,
So
sick.
I'll watch like a masterclass on photography, and like even when I take a departure from the music side, I'm still going into something art based or creative. So I love
Yeah.
photography. I love um I love font design, weirdly enough.
Oh, typography is great.
Photography is amazing. And I love like fashion. Like I started sewing like during the
Wow.
pandemic. I started leather working during the pandemic, like making
What?
wallets. So like and that all that other creative stuff, what when it, I first felt like it was taking away from my music time, but what it was
Yeah.
really doing was it was just kind of rewiring my creative brain so that
Yeah.
when I got back to the music, you know what it really did for me was like I was a shit sewer for a minute. I was fucking horrible. But I would sew and get good at sewing, and I got to a point where I'm a decent novice sewer,
Yeah.
making leather shit. Oh, I'm a decent novice
Sick.
leather maker. I made a wallet and a couple of things. But when I got back to music, again,
Game changing.
my confidence went through the roof again because like, yo, this is second nature. Watch this, and you're back
Yeah.
because it's like the world is relative. Everything is relative. Speed is relative. Like
Absolutely.
wealth is relative. You may have a wealthy uncle who in a different circle is the poor guy. It's
Yeah.
just relative. So
100%.
that's like it's funny. I've never thought of it that way, but yes, that's like I do that
That's
all the time.
amazing. And I want to go on this creative thing because I find that like being a creative can be very isolating. It's like your friends might understand what you do, even if they're from a different world, but your dreams might seem really far fetched to other people if you're not within the music industry or the entertainment industry as a whole. Um, when you first started out in music, or even now, like, did you have friends that were also pursuing music and or creative endeavors that like you felt a safe place in, or like was it super lonely and you're like,
I I love being lonely and creative.
wow, okay.
I love I love being lonely and creative. I think it's
Do you
an
like feeling
onerous.
misunderstood?
I don't like feeling misunderstood, but
Okay.
I feel like I like to. Maybe it's an insecure thing. Maybe it's just I'm an only child and I've
Oh
grown up
wow.
like. But I like being alone and making things. I
Yeah.
like I just like it. I feel I like if I have company while I'm doing it, I love the type of company that doesn't say anything to me and just watches me. I
Wow.
love that. Like I have two friends that in my lowest point, they would just come to my house, sit down, we'd smoke, and they weren't musicians. They were like, my friend is just like an idea guy. He just likes
Sick.
ideas. And my other friend, he's in accounting,
Yeah.
loves music, not a music industry guy. And they would literally sit on a couch behind me, chill out, talk to each other while I sat there, and I'd turn around and be like, "That cool?" And they'd be like, "Sounds sick, bro."
Yeah.
I love being a lonely creative. I'm starting to be more collaborative,
Yeah.
and I'm starting to like to bounce ideas off of people. But it's very rare for me to have like a regular collaborator.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
it's very rare. I like creating alone. There's a few, but I like creating alone, or I like when somebody says, "Here, I have something. Can you do something with this?" And let me do something with it, and then
Yeah.
giving it back to them. Um, yeah, that's just that's just how it is. I've never felt like lonely though. I've never felt
Interesting.
misunderstood. I've and maybe I was misunderstood, but I never felt the need to explain what I was trying to do to somebody.
Got you. That's
You know,
dope.
I may have wanted them to understand, but if you don't understand, I'm not talking to you about it. You're not the
Fair.
right. You don't
Yeah.
understand, and
Absolutely.
like I have problems with pitches. Like if I need to pitch something because I need an investment or something like that, I have problems with that because it's like, yo, this is what I'm doing. Like you down?
Or you're not,
I'm not,
yeah.
you're not. Like you might want to just come hang out with me for a little bit and see what I do so that you can see it. But
Yeah,
uh, if you're not down, I'm not gonna pitch you on it because I don't
yeah,
need you to understand it. I just need you to. I don't need you to understand. I just need you to believe in what I'm gonna do.
yeah, for sure.
Problem doing that with my team. Like I'll do a bunch of shit and then be like, yo, it's out, it's done. They're like, yo, bro, you need to help us out here. And I'll be like, well, yeah, but I wanted to do it myself.
100%. 100%.
um, yeah, it's kind of a toxic trait of mine, to be honest. But um, I have like kind of the right type of people around me now that understand. So they know when to
100%.
they kind of know when to clue into me. Like, yo, you're doing this, right? Yes, I am. Okay, cool. We'll get the other stuff done.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's what
Yeah.
a good team is for, right? Like a good team, not just a team, a good team. And like we're at a point now where like I think I would say you're very established. When you were starting out, did you say yes to every opportunity that came your way?
Yes.
Because you're like, I need to get my foot in the door, like name out whatever.
Yeah, I still kind of say yes to everything,
Oh
to be
shit.
totally honest. I'm
Okay.
just like I'm I say yes to everything and I try it out once, you know.
Fair.
If it seems, you know, if it seems feasible, you know, if it seems like okay, let's see. You know, I don't shut I try not to shut the doors to any and all opportunities just because you know, you never know. You never know. So I I'm very open to whatever opportunities come through and I'll give it a chance.
Yes.
But even if it's just a chance to like have a conversation about it and see what
Yeah.
it is, you know? And then, you know, but I'll very rarely point blank say no to something.
Yeah.
Like I'll be like, oh yeah, okay, you know, what's your management doing with your stuff? What are your plans? Like if somebody wants to do a song with
Yeah.
me, okay, cool. You know, I'll check the following. If the following is like not anything to speak of, but okay, cool. Where are you from? What's your story? Why are you, you know, what kind of a song do you want from me? What do you think you can do with a song for me? You know, like you're gonna
Wow.
pay me to do a song. Yeah, okay, that's cool. I'll take your money, but that's not like my MO is never to take money from people. If I don't think that it's gonna be worth it for
I
them,
respect that.
I'll just be like, yo, it's not worth it for you to spend X amount of dollars on me right now because it's gonna fall to the wayside. You might have fucking fantastic song.
Hmm.
But you're I don't think it's worth it for you right now to you know to do that. I think you should, you know, write the song yourself or find some friends and write it together and build up so that when you have the opportunity to, you know, when you have a great song, you know, you don't miss the boat on it, I guess. And then sometimes I just do the song like, okay, let's see where it goes.
Yeah.
But I try not to do I'll just take some money and go because I've been victim to that. Like I've been, you know, people have taken money from me when I was on the come up, you know, like, well, mix your thing. It's going to be the best mixed thing. And you give
Yeah.
somebody like thousands of dollars and, you know, it's like, it's a waste of money. And
Yeah.
I'm not to do that. Actually, my team now, I met because of that. They like this. So my artist, Brian, he wanted me to write, I don't know, a couple of songs for him.
Hmm.
He's a dancer, amazing artist. He's transitioning from like being a big choreographer to an artist.
That's
And
dope.
so his manager hit me, was like, yo, let's do this. So I met with them and I was like, yo, you're gonna pay me this much. I'm gonna give you these songs and I'm gonna go my way and you're gonna get yours. And none of us are gonna get any further than we are today. You
Wow.
know, just not. So what about this? You don't pay me. Um, but I'll do all the songs for you. I'll do the whole album.
Yeah.
And, and then in return, we are we do a label together. We'll put the records out together. And then when we reach a certain point of you paying me for the songs I've done. We'll just split everything 50-50,
Yeah.
right? And then if I have opportunities that you can be a part of, those are your opportunities. And then when you have opportunities, you're there, you can funnel to me. And like, let's build online, let's build our rapport with each other, and let's just be friends that work together. And let's just see where that goes.
That's crazy. I love that you brought that up because I'm going to wrap up part one here because I want to hear about that in part two. And I think that's such a good segue into part two. So, August, thank you. We're picking up this conversation again for the
Yeah.
innovation portion